how to activate your new identity, how to activate your new timeline. Are we ready? Also, a part of that as well is knowing when you're past. The biggest thing, y'all, I'm about to go so deep into it. I'm about to go take a nap right now. I'll be back.
Few moments later.
And we're back. Activating your new timeline, activating your new identity. You first have to know when your past identity and timeline has expired. You have to know when things have ended or when they need to end for you to then become anew. We live in constant cycles. Every 3 months, we are going into new seasons, meaning we are also going into new seasons within ourselves. Life, death, rebirth. That is the 3 cycles that we are living in each season, every 3 months. So with that knowing, I am being more aware of it as well. I also have this awareness to know when it's time to move, when I have fulfilled my purpose in one environment, and trusting my intuition. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to make sense logically. It has to feel right internally. It has to feel, with love, with purpose inside. And that's when I know, okay, this is not feeding to my purpose anymore. Or I have fulfilled with the purpose of this environment, this season, this identity. I have fulfilled its purpose. So now it's time to transcend. Okay? Transform. But I like transcend more because it's like we are light and we are transforming and moving into another version of our being in light. So, yes. Okay. But let's talk deeper about it, right? So, yes, know when something has expired, know when environments aren't feeding you and aren't fulfilling you into purpose. And of course, discomfort is always the best thing because it's teaching us to grow. It is also nice to rest, but also knowing we're too comfortable in a place, knowing also when this discomfort isn't feeding you, it's draining you, right? And knowing that, okay, I know I'm worthy for more. What steps can I take to make the next change of my new identity? And a lot of times we know what we are supposed to be doing. We know where we're supposed to be. We already have this inner knowing within us once we are connected back to ourself, our truest self, not our ego. Our soul, our inner child, our higher self, they are all connected in this similar spectrum of identity, of not even identity, but of just inner self guidance, higher consciousness. So, a big way to really activate your new identity is to feel. When I speak on manifestation, I don't even really say manifestation anymore. I don't do manifesting lists. I'm just grateful. Gratitude is the number one factor of propelling you into anything you are dreaming, imagining. Feeling grateful and seeing it, and also feeling it in the present. It's not about just seeing it and visualizing it. It's about embodying the visual into the 3D and feeling it in your vessel like it's happening right now. That's how you really do instant quantum leaps, manifesting and new identity shifts, is embodying the feeling of what it is going to be like in this moment. Then you're already reprogramming your mind to be like, oh, this is my reality. Because we are in a system. This is we are in a universal conscious computer. So the more you can program yourself to feel something before you even get the new update, the new reboot, the new program, then you are ahead of the game. Then you're moving ahead of the computer, right? So then you can feel the sensations and you know, in all senses. How does it taste? How does it look? How does the wind feel? How does the ground feel underneath your feet? How does the seat feel? How does it smell? What do you hear? You know, if you want to travel, and it's even for myself too, if you want to travel, start listening to the music of the place you're going. Start listening to the language. What does that feel like? What is it? You know what I mean? It's really getting into senses. Y'all, look at my favorite bird. That is literally my spirit animal, the heron. And the fact that it just flew right here over the water is a divine message then alone. Also, because herons aren't about speed, they're about steadiness. They are about steadiness and taking small steps but still getting to where you want to be. And I feel like that was a divine message right there. So even with you activating your new identity, it doesn't always have to be so quick. Everybody always wants everything to be instant, but are you prepared to hold the instantaneous result? Are you prepared within to hold that, to harness that, to embody that? And a lot of times people aren't. And that's why you, just as fast as you get something, you will lose it if you are not ready to sustain it. Right? We talk about more about sustenance, what that is like, because that's the truth of really getting to new identity, to new timelines, and staying in it. It's not about that you won't continue going forward, but sometimes, or that you'll go backwards, but sometimes you will get stuck in old programs and thought patterns and ways of beliefs, and you know, that are still subconsciously buried into you will come to the surface, and then you won't know how to progress from where you are, or you may get caught in not, you know, believing that this is real and that you are worthy. And that happens a lot of time. Magical things happen to people and they don't know how to believe it to be true. So then they're always expecting something to come and shut it down, right? When people, what is that called? It's not even in my reality. It's hard to even think of it. But you know, when people always expect the worst, you know, like, well, if this is going good, then something bad has to happen. Like, no, that's just a programming and a belief system within you that everything can't be good for you, that suffering exists. You believe that to have something good means you also have to suffer in a way. Self-sabotaging, that's what it is. So a lot of times people can manifest, a lot of times we can manifest. People are quantum leaping and creating new identities, but they're not sustaining the new identity because there's something in them that is sabotaging that vision, that ability, that, you know, new part of themselves. So that's why it's like, yes, definitely work on so many things. Like I said, a part of the whole activating new identity is also really deactivating past identity, knowing when something has expired within you and working on it. And part of that will be like, quote unquote, shadow work, you know, doing a lot of inner work, reflection, to see where parts of yourself is still being in lack, where parts of yourself are still being in limitation, where parts of yourself isn't being in proactivity. You know what I mean? You, even if you do embody it and do sustain it, you also sometimes, a lot of times, for the infinite consciousness around us to work with you, you sometimes just got to make a small action. You just have to do and be as the new version of yourself would already operate. So that means maybe you do something completely new. You know what I mean? Something that your higher self has been calling and guiding you to do, that would already put you in that new identity, but you've been avoiding it. And this is me speaking to myself. There's a few things that my higher self has already been sending to myself that would put me in a new identity, but I have been in this crossroads of my past, not even my past, of my present identity and the new identity that I'm living in, embodying and practicing sustenance for. You know, it's a preparation. So don't beat yourself up about it. Embrace the preparation phase. Embrace the endings and the closings of your past identity, of the identity that you are no longer living in, that has expired. Embrace that and accept it and fully close the chapter, because you don't want to go back to that identity. You don't want to have that identity still creeping and lingering in your energetic field. You want to move to your new identity and activation with full power, with full high resonance and sustenance to that identity that you're going into, right? So yes, I'm gonna go through the list again, right? So the first step is knowing when your past identity, past timeline has expired. 2 2 is, dang, I just said it. Know when you're, okay. And okay, so 1, know when your past identity has expired and your past timeline has expired. 2 is sustaining your new timeline and energy, right? So really fully closing out of your past identity and past timeline and past thinking habits and past ways of being, so then you can actually be prepared. So that second step is really you working on preparation, you being in true divine alignment to your new identity so you can sustain it, and it's not rushing it, but so you can hold it and so you can truly become it, right? Then 3 is feeling it. 3 is feeling it, feeling like it's already here every day. Feel the gratitude, feel the joy, feel the bliss of what your new identity and new timeline is like. Do things you've never done. Do the things that your highest self or the version of you that you are accessing and activating would do. So if you know you want to, if you want to, let's say you want to do nails for, celebrities, or you want to do makeup for, editorial magazines, music videos, something like that, right? So what would you do? You would do all the things that would align you to that to be prepared for the moment instantly. So have a portfolio of nails, or have a site, or have a page for nails. Have, a pitch to send to different, magazines, to different artists, to different directors. Have, I don't even know, even press on, send them, have something to send out as like a PR to give, just to give, so people see the quality of your work. You know what I mean? It's one thing to have a vision, but it's also steps that must be taken to actually execute the vision. Same thing with activating a new timeline and new identity. There are steps that must be taken. And I do believe that, Joe Dispenza, that's my dude right there. And with those manifestations, they are powerful. But a big part of it is sustenance. And then that's when the new identity and new reality comes in magically, is because you've been sustaining it. So in his meditations, that's what you're doing, is you're sustaining it and going into that new version of you in deep meditation, going into different timelines in meditation. So that's the 4th step, I would say, too. Meditate. Get out of your 3D reality so you can access the multi-dimensional universe we live in. And the more you do that, then it really does become easier to feel those emotions. Then you can see it. You can see it very clear. You can see your 3D, but you can also see the other dimensions that you are ready to access, the new identity and timeline that you are ready to access. And being in nature. For real. You got to get out of the house. You got to get off of your screen. You have to be present. You have to be present. The first step of anything with going into quantum is presence. Truly. That's really the first step. Before you do any quantum leaps, quantum jumps, and activations of identity, is being fully present with yourself. So then you can feel what your new identity and new timeline feels. You can't do that if you're lingering in the past, and you can't do it if you see it as the future. You have to feel it in the now. And that's when it becomes instant, because you feel it right now. So, yes, this is my, closing off of this 9 year, my final message. I know I probably won't post it exactly when, but I did feel called to share it today and get this message off, because we are shifting. The timelines are shifting. We are moving into a 10-year. This is a year of new beginnings. It is a year of a lot of power, a lot of self-power, you know what I mean? And a lot of us remembering this 9 year was a big closing out of cycles, systems, programs that we have all been deactivated from and reactivated into true purpose timelines. And I was just saying to myself earlier, like, this is just, New Year's Eve. And it's just crazy how, like, last New Year's Eve, I was working. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just working, stack my money up. Like, that was my whole mindset, is money, 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 money. And then on my walk over here today, the song that Spirit gave to me was, it's not about the money, money, money. It's not about the money, money, money. Just want to make the world dance. Don't care about the price tag. Right? So it's like, it's so interesting to see where my consciousness has elevated and shifted from being so forceful to receiving, working so hard, to now actually allowing myself to receive. And that's a big thing too. That's another thing too with the quantum shift. You have to allow yourself to receive. Just because you don't see it in your 3D doesn't mean you have to work harder. Allow yourself to receive. Regulate your nervous system to receive. Right? So, just having that realization of seeing how I have transformed and transcended into purpose, into truth this year, even more, is beautiful, because I know now I am aligned to wealth. Not just money, but wealth. With lots of money, but still, you know what I mean? It's a wealth in a different form. It's freedom. So the wealth can be in many different factors. It doesn't always have to be about money. It can be about opportunity. It can be about, sharing wealth with the world. I want to give to communities. I want to build things that really help humanity. You know what I mean? And in my purpose, more than ever. So, yes, sending much love to you all as we transcend and ascend and descend. I've heard that too, It is. As the more we ascend into higher energies, we also have to bring those higher energies back down. So it is, you're ascending, but you're descending, and bring it back into the 3D. And I love that we are all really waking up more to realizing, like, yeah, it's cool, be spiritual, be connected, be in your divinity. Be in your divinity. And it doesn't have to look a certain way. There is no rule book to your connection to God, Source, the Creator. Everyone has their own connection. And at the same time, we are still having a human experience. So just having that balance. Like, I still go out and I still dance and I still, you know what I mean? I'll have some wine here or there. It's a balance. Knowing yourself enough to know when, okay, I've been doing too much of this, I need to go back to this. And knowing when I'm at a wonderful balance right now. Everything is in wonderful balance. I had a great experience, and now I can reflect and continue working on purposeful movement. That's it. So I'm just happy that we are all awakening and remembering that we are still here to have a human experience, and all this stuff that we are gaining access in our 5D and plus can also be brought back into the 3D to share. It's not about you feeling like you're better than. No. It's because we are all remembering in our own time, and we're all fulfilling our soul's missions and soul's purpose. But in totality, we are all one big consciousness here to share our experiences with each other. So the more that we have experiences, then you find out more truths of your life, your purpose, and your existence. It's not about, like I said, following a rule book. It's about doing and living and learning and sharing it, and so other people feel that resonance. You know what I mean? That's how you find your true soul tribe. You can't be out here trying to be perfect and holy, knowing that's not really who you are. And even if you are, if that's an identity that's not true to you, then are you happy? Are you joyful? You know, I try not to say happy, but are you living in joy and in truth? Truth is it. Truth is the only thing, yo. It's only truth. All that other stuff, because everything can be subjective, but are you living in truth? All right? Ask yourself that. Peace and much love, sending you infinite love, infinite freedom, infinite joy, and purpose as we step, as we live, as we embody our new identities and timelines. Ashe, Hedapoo.